I'm going to narrate this post because it's a little bit chaotic and I wanted to use it as a kind of a notepad for me to go off of in sharing what I'm about to share. But the theme is that probably it is the most profound thing I've ever heard, read, said, um, written, anything. But it was from my daughter uh, just over 3 years ago. And for weeks, she was walking around the house saying, "I love you, I hate you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I love you." And it's our youngest daughter, and this was just prior to her mother and I going through our separation and stuff and everything that happened. But point is that um, coming from her, one of the things I've said repeatedly to my own children and everybody, and I've always kind of known, but things have turned since I had my catalyst moment back in the end of November of 2019. But she, just like children do, um, provides a perspective that is simple, just like children do. It's very simple, and it's simple because there's no history or there's no emotional weight, baggage. There's no gravity yet, um, to a certain degree, and the the whole um, process, the path, the journey, the whole experience, and everything that's happening now, the amalgamation of the human experience, um, is one of the biggest hurdles, I'd say, in regards to that variable, that X factor, which the Generation X was the starting gate for the pole shift, the transition, the um, going from the superficial intelligence, which is the mind, the black and white, the left and right, the sides, the external sides, or from our perspective, from the human perspective, as external sides. So this image here is one I had rendered by AI, which I was asking it to show me um, an image of dark matter and matter working together. And down to the color, I'm not going to get into all that, but you could see how one of them, it rendered two. It gave me both of these. And you can see what the differences are. Hopefully, the way that top one looks like cells, cancer cells, when they are not in synergy. What does that mean? That means a direct current happening or continuously happening from the gatekeeper, the mind, the closed mind, which is what we are going from: superficial intelligence, surface. What is surface? It's outside the organic skin. It's organic skin and natural, the artificial environment the 3D, that we um, call light, or the light of day, the daylight, the 12, the lesson, the inside, the dome, the freedom is a next step, the third step. So we've gone body, we've gone mind, and now we're going into the emotional intelligence. We are emotional beings, and we are at that amalgamation of all space and time that we know of the history, of all the ascended masters, of all the different pantheons, of all the different religions. It's all coming to this kind of 0 point center, e pluribus unum, out of many one. Well, out of one many. It all begins and ends with the law of oneness. Begins there, and then it goes into the law of gender, and that balancing act of dark and light, sides left and right, the reflection. What I want to get into here is the evolution, and case in point, what it is, one of the or what are the key elements to which each individual, as a human in this environment, in this space, in this time, which the time is created by the mind, in regards to categorically setting up the departmentalizing aspect. So all of these things are important to understand when we get to the point, which is going to be, what is it that we individually are required to do based on what our experiences, our role, our perspective, growth, our ego. We are emotional beings. Therefore, when we talk about, or if you ever asked the question or heard the question, what is our purpose? To feel, to learn how to feel. But it goes in stages in regards to its energy. Everything is energy, which everybody's, most likely heard. Well, in that energetic aspect, that is the oneness. It's all energy. So in that, then when you break it apart, that everything is balanced but reflecting itself. So one side though has to be, there has to be a reflection. So there has to be a lighter or a higher or a lower, or there has to be some type of differentiation, which is where the golden number comes in, the golden ratio, which is pi. What I was given, what I was provided was essentially 5 very simple, simple instructions, essentially. One was listen to self first and last. None of this made sense to me in the beginning. So it took me 5 years to go through the process to actually do the experience, to create the experience and go through everything that I had gone through and get to the core, which again is going to be the end game or the point of what I'm posting this about, and everything is about. Because what has to happen now is we have to share the experience from our human perspective. Everybody talks about the spiritual war. Everybody's talking about all these different, spirituality things, the awakening, the fifth dimension, the new earth, all of this stuff, the chosen ones, all of it, all of it, all of it is just another spin to a revolution, a revolving in the descent, again, because it's a separation to which it doesn't work. We are all in this together, from spirit to, it does not matter what you subscribe to. Okay, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are human. There's one race. We are the human. We are the divine masculine as a collective. So individually, it is the duty of the individual to experience, to take care of their own I love you, I hate you. That's I love you through the honeymoon period, and then we go through the divorce period. This is what we know. This is what the mind knows. Those who speak don't know. Those who know don't speak. This is the mind. Back and forth. This is the paradox. So you're going to have a lot of it, perhaps yourself or, it's everywhere now. The experience with spirituality, right? You're dealing with the paradox. You're dealing with different aspects of the unknown or the darkness, or everything is designed in conspiracy for you at the 0 point center with your heart of darkness, your mind in darkness. Okay. We, the human, the masculine, is the darkness. Okay. That everybody is not seeing themselves as. We are the ones, because we are the ones in the unknown. We are the ones that feel the fear. We are the ones that do the judging. We are the ones that then bounce back and forth from fear to judgment. This is what the mind is doing. In order to open the mind, there's only one way to do that. One way. Be an emotional being. What does that mean? Be vulnerable. What does that mean? Accept accountability for every feeling, emotion, and experience. Authenticity. What does that mean? I feel love, therefore I'm going to express it coherently. And until I can do the response ability to respond, the reaction part has to be contained. We literally have 2 black holes in our fucking faces. Okay, this is what goes into a black hole. What escapes a black hole? Gravity. That's it. Nothing else. Gravity does escape though. So how does that relate to us? Tears. We have to authentically feel, but not just do that, not just feel. We have to own that feeling. So what does that look like? It hasn't changed. Everything is extremely simple. And there's no selling, there's no preaching, it's very simple. It's just doing what beyond the belief, the thought repeat on repeat. We think this security, this protection, it's all going on the offense. This is why we are the darkness. This is why we have to break the will to free the spirit. But then freeing the spirit, okay, this is dark matter and matter working together. They do not occupy the same side of the organic skin. So when we're talking about going through this, the spiritual path and the walk and the journey and everything, we're all in this together. And that side knows we don't. What we have to do is do our duty in feeling. It's a feeling journey, not a healing journey. The body heals on its own. How do I know? Because I did it head to toe. And all I did, I knew nothing about, it's just a matter of using what people call ADD or ADHD, epic alcoholic, epic addict. I went through all the darkness stuff, which was a suppression, which was a direct current. Tesla talks about the 369, the direct current and the alternating current. The mind itself in the reflection of the direct current. We are now needing to intentionally, voluntarily sacrifice our own being. And all that means is that we are going to accept the energy which is in our cellular memory bank. It's at capacity on our entire species. It's all being reflected in everything. So when we're talking about this person, that person doing this or that, the elites, all of this stuff, it's a separation to which it's very simple. Natural, nature, nurture, Mother Earth is our divine feminine. Okay, so individually, as the divine union, the twin flame, all of that stuff goes right back to I love you, I hate you, I love you. I love you, I hate you, I love you. The last I love you is an internal love of self where you open your mind. It's a physiological event, so it's not going to be in question. It is something that you cannot deny, nor can you fake. There's 3 different dialects in the same language going on, just like the E. So one of the things I'm going to do as well is start sharing how the alphabet is the letters themselves speak more, just like the ancient ruins and everything, or hieroglyphs. So all of this stuff is moving back to very simple stuff. So the Holy Grail is the and symbol. Okay, so this or that, this and that. Okay, the and symbol, if you look at it, it's an open 8. So we have, all these infinity, the 8s, that's closed off. It's revolution, not evolution. What is evolution? It is the paradoxical anagram for love. Loving of self. So when we look at evolution or evil with the O, that's the wholeness, the whole note. Each letter, again, has its own symbol and means entirely the communication that is thorough, is coherent, and is altogether working your entire system, not two-dimensionally through a surfaced, like the devices, like the AI, like all of this stuff. We are in the manifestation of the mind coming out, the higher mind coming out to be able to talk to the infinite intelligence that grabs it all and creates a history. Okay, but how the history is created is by a closed mind, by a matrix being developed in the neural pathways to which we learn what our we learn about the energy itself. All it is intensity. Energy itself, when it gets suppressed, then we name it negative. Problem with the identification, and this is what the big issue is that we have identified completely what's called the looking glass self. I'm not who you think I am. I'm not who I think I am. I am who you think, or I think you think I am. So that's where we're kind of, not only that, but all the love, all the trust, all the faith, all the respect, all the things that we, like, everybody's like pursuing, happiness, joy. Okay. If you can't give somebody love, give them hope. If you can't give somebody hope, give them something to do. Hope is something that is what is hopefully being provided right now as the posts that I do. That means that hope is not in existence. Everybody's just got something to do, needs something to do, to be purposed towards something. The mind itself is purposed to create the interpretation, the communicator. It interprets so that the communication can go from body to mind to spirit to voice. Okay? 3 creators, protons, neutrons, electrons, 6, 6, 6. Okay? In 3, and the 9 is the paradoxical reverse. So people will talk about, they have connections with spirits or ancestors or gods or demons or angels or infernal. It doesn't matter what it is, but one of the main things is that they say they lie, or they listen. Every single scenario in which you communicate, and this I had to learn, like, on the fly, baptized in fire, okay? Because I had no idea, I'd never had this experience before, and it's the compass rose. You have the cross, okay, the E. You have 3 planes that are all in going left to right, okay, like the clock in the circle. Now is not the present, it's not the past, and it's not the future. Now is separate, okay? So, and it's all based on so now N is intuition, your gut feeling, okay? You got to, the thing that's going on right now, and this is what everybody has to keep in mind. Everything is in protection of the heart, okay? The heart being as a whole, the earth, nature, the natural compassion and nurturer, okay? But just like a woman scorned or lifting the veil at the wedding, these are all demonstrations of the reflection. And then when we go through and it all goes, the key is forgiveness. The flood that happens is either tears from the salton sea inside that clears out the energy, which in your cellular, think about the densification, the gravity, the weight of all the suppression, what people call the ancestral curse. Well, that same ancestral curse is what provides the wealth. But it has to be an individual's decision to do it. Nobody can save anybody. Nobody can do it nobody can feel for another person. Empathy is what I found out to be my worst enemy. That's what dark empathy comes from. And dark empaths are the ones that have the most condensed concentration of energy within them. They're at the highest capacity, and typically they've gone through a very dark, tough life. And so when it comes to the aspect of getting through, the empathy is, we're all empaths. We feel we feel energy. And in that, all it's doing when we say, oh, I feel everybody's energy around me, all it's doing is resonating, because it's when you're in a situation like we are now from Generation X on. Okay, when we're in this situation where our molecular structures are at capacity, it's volatile. A nuclear explosion goes off by an implosion first, and then the explosion, once the densification reaches the volatility level to which it interacts to a place where dark matter and matter meet. Okay, so when it comes to the divinity, the path, the journey, the spiritual walk, whatever you want, the human experience is what it is, because it's not just a spiritual path. It's not just it's a body, mind, spirit, voice. Okay, the universe, one verse, voice, in the beginning, from the Old Testament, in the beginning, the word. So every word you say is a new beginning, or starting of another repetition. Words slow things down, which is another reason I'm doing this right now, because it helps to ground. We're grounding in. So we go, our chakras from the crown to the root are like a pendulum. Okay, we go from coming down, crowning out. We have the crown, we come out of the birth canal. Okay, that is our body survival. That's survival. Okay, everything else is a mind creation. From there, we've already survived the body part. That was the biggest traumatic, most traumatic experience. That's what we have to get back to. Okay, we have to get back to where we have to counter the clock. We have to be counterproductive, which means to stop being distracted by everything outside. You have to bring your orbit of where life really happens, which is 6 inches in front of your face. Everything that's happened, and that's because it's the feeling. You have to follow your intuition, to trust that you're going to be okay on the back end, and that's your guides, however you want to do it, your God, your whatever, because ultimately it goes back to the same energy. This is why we're all one, okay? And we're all working together, and we're all in it together. Nobody is out to get you except you. And the reason that is because you're here to learn in the expansion of consciousness. We are creating the 13th floor. Okay? Everything is 12. Everything is 12. Except for we're not looking at us, which is the 13th, the 1-3, the e pluribus unum, the ficus or whatever it is. But so it's light and dark, love and hate. If you hate, do it coherently, do it responsibly, but feel it and own it. Be accountable. That is authenticity. Okay, being authentic is not it's not being on one side or the other. It's and one of the biggest arguments is that it's not conceivable. It seems completely contradictory, and it is. It completely is to the mind. The mind never knows more than it did a moment ago. And if it doesn't learn, if we don't use what our the stimulus, the feeling, if we don't use the feeling, the intuition, which they counter, they balance each other out. You are the 0 point center. You are the compass rose, or you're becoming the compass rose. Okay, so you go from from crown, you go then straight to root. Okay, you're rooting in the mind. So you have the upper 3 versus the lower 3, the heartbreak, the heartache. Okay, and we are moving downwards. We are the ass backwards one. We are the paradox. So keep that in mind. So when it comes out, like when you go through the aspect of if this is something that you pursue, chosen ones choose to be or not to be. That is the question. It still remains the question. To be or not to be. The key still remains forgiveness. Nothing's changed. It's all simple. And it's not something that you have to go to some retreat. I mean, you do whatever you're going to do because that's what you follow that. But all of these things, from yoga, from martial arts, it doesn't matter. They all become distractions from us feeling. Honestly, what is the most courageous thing that a grown man can do? Cry. And do it coherently. And do it responsibly. And do it in a way to where they're not judging themselves. This is what we do for each other. This is the only thing we could do for each other. This is our only duty. So we do not have to go out. So for instance, I mean, yes, we are in that situation where we have to understand, we have to make the trajectory go in a way. If anybody follows Bashar, and he made that prediction about the election, if the male wins World War III and the fall of the United States, if the female wins, nature, spirit unleashes the open contact. Okay, the open contact means two different things. It's not about, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to have energies that they say, malevolent or whatever. It's just what they do. It's just vying for the voice. 3 creators, 1 leg. Okay, the heart, the gut, and the mind each have an X, and you are the cross that bears that. You are the X on the external, but the paradox X, you are that centerpiece. And you now is the intuition, the open whole note, the circle. So you are balanced. You are the balancer from the mind to the intuition to the heart. And the only communication you have in order to do that balance is feeling. So I love you externally because you complete me. You show me what I'm missing, what I'm not feeling. You help me numb or go through the process, just like pharmaceuticals, just like drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. All of these things that are judged and made by the mind into be the bad category, whatever it is, whatever your scenario is, or religion, or it doesn't matter what it is. But you're going to have a side that you prefer and then one you don't. Hate is the same way. So if you love, you have to hate. If you hate, you have to love. If you are against something, you have to be against yourself. So at the end of the day, we're moving to the emotional intelligence. What does that mean? Emotional intelligence means that it's not logic, it's not rational, it's not just mind, it's not just intuition, it's not just art, it's not just nature, but it's both. So sacred geometry, just look into sacred geometry was one of the instructions. Okay, I didn't look past the 5 platonic solids, and then everything else kind of fell into place. The reason why it's so simple, and one of the other things was I was told to stay off of social media altogether, and not get caught up in all the community stuff and different, this and that, because I wasn't ready at that time to. It wasn't that I wasn't ready, because willingness and readiness are 2 different things. Willingness is when you break the free will, because free will is defined only by in the moment, because in the present or the conscious awareness moment, and the frequency is just how frequent you are aware of what you're feeling and you're following your feelings. Fear on the left side. Okay, fear is from the left side. Judgment is on the right. So fear sparks judgment, judgment sparks fear, and then so goes the pendulum. This is where we are. And 2,000 years of and it's not a bad thing. This is what we're here to do. It's just time. It's just the amalgamation time. And what that means is that now everybody has to make their own choice whether or not they are going to cry, whether they are going to feel honestly, whether they are going to forgive, whether they are going to have the strength which comes from the fear. Okay, fear becomes something else. You've seen people who can walk through things and not seemingly fear. No, we all fear. We all fear. It's just we handle it differently. We handle the situations. We either panic, we either get into a situation where we instinctively respond, okay? Which this just means that there's not experience in feeling those moments. So therefore, that becomes, so for instance, it's the ones that are more familiar with the fear. What does that mean? We call them empaths. What does that mean? The ones that went dark, the ones that are on the cusp, the ones that are holding on to the compassion with everything they possibly can. Betrayed, because because that was me too. What we do is we give everything that we need to everyone else. And then what reflects that, so there's far less empaths and dark empaths than there are in the narcissistic disorder area now, where this is another break from the oneness. So it breaks in two. You have an entire family tree just from your own perspective, and that's where it has to come from. You are the one. You are only one, but you are one nonetheless. And because you are one, you can't do everything, but you can do anything. You are the universal authority. You are the head of state. You are the state. You are the one that decides the state of the well-being. The well. What is the well? The well is the body, the cellular memory. You are the one that holds all that energy, just like a well going into the earth. It's all reflective. Everything is that's why it's simple. So the 5 platonic solids. In third dimension, there's 5 platonic solids, but there's also, when you're talking about the, you can look at it as a triangle or a pyramid, a sphere or a circle. This is the perspective. So this can tell, and as far as like from my 0 point center and doing what I'm doing and trying to share, and it works off the Fibonacci sequence. We're not spiraling it. We're flattening it. So we go from the 0, the negative side, to the positive side. 1 and 1 becomes 2. 1 and 2 becomes 3. So it's not about going out and having the, being some, knight in shining armor or some Batman or anything like that. It's just making sure that you yourself are in charge of your universe, of your emotions, and doing it honestly. And when you are expressing, know what you're saying. And it's not about being wrong or right. It's about being aware. So you want to become an advanced meditator? Go lay down, and I don't care, pick anything. Pick any, whatever you want to, visualize something. It's not about the visualization. It's about catching your mind wandering and then you judging yourself for it. And then once you catch it, now you have to reverse the trajectory. You have to consciously volunteer, intent, everything, to now say, celebrate, instead of saying, oh shit. And I'll give you an example of what I did and this kicked me off. It's all very simple. You know what to do. We all know what to do. It has to start with feeling, accepting responsibility. And you'll have questions and everything. You just have to feel, follow your intuition. I did a lot of weird shit, like collecting rocks, just because I had no idea why. And it didn't matter. It was just the demonstration. We are going from the illustration, the ill, to demonstrate. Okay. I suppose I'll get into the other one after this. All right. So I love you. I hate you. I love you. Um, we are going into that transition. The main point that I want to share with this one is cry. It's the only way. You either flood through the tears, you feel through the hell, which is the energy. See, love and hate are the exact same energy. The mind needs a stimulus in order, a wave, a vibration, a frequency in order to stimulate it. So it's already in existence. All of those things that we see uh, from Hollywood, um, Universal Studios, all of those things, the movies, it's all already in place. Neo, okay, Neo, intuition, the whole note, and the W. The W is the two valleys on the right and the left, and you walk through the center path. The the um, the A, the A is the beginning. You are the demonstrator. When you walk on the left side, it's the valley of death. When you walk on the right side, it's the valley of death. You reverse that. It's the mind. Okay? The mind playing both sides. So yes, if you can follow that pattern recognition, it's the same energy. Okay? L is the angles. L is loose or lux is light. And if you go to the Greek alphabet, which the Hebrew and Greek alphabet were also one of the instructions. So pi, okay, that's as far away. That's what we are, okay? So you ever heard the cliche, there's always somebody bigger, badder, stronger, faster, whatever, better. No matter, so keep your humility. That's how it's balanced. Because we cannot get, if we get any closer than times pi, 3.14, get any closer, this is why we have to keep the organic separation of the skin. Because then dark matter and matter, when they meet in the same dimension, then it's like Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, I think, or was it I don't know, but yeah, it's not good. It can't happen. So what needs to happen is we have to continue to be, just be, okay? Be your side, your two quarter notes on the right side, and then communicate with the spirit. Whatever you subscribe to, it doesn't matter. It's just the paradox. It's why it goes 369 and then the God frequency is 963. Okay? It's not that they're, when we say they, that's who we're talking about. The production house, the darkness from our perspective. But again, we're the unknown. We are the ones that don't know, because we are crafting the mind. We are crafting the embodiments of the ego, the energy, God. G is the arc, a C, and then from the center point, arcs out and goes down. Again, the O is the whole note, the frequential whole note. So in that frequency, we're in C minor. Okay, so we're the C lower. We hit the 8th octave, and then we match in perfect harmony, which means that we understand the communication. We're open, we're flowing, we're not suppressing anymore, we're expressing. We're being authentic. We are alternating the current, the currency, the current, it's going in and out. So if you take a heart, okay, and then you draw the exact same heart upside down on top of it, you're going to have an octahedron, well, 2-dimensionally, 3-dimensionally, it's octahedron. And then what are you going to have? You're going to have another diamond. That's your diamond, not the half diamond, girl's best friend, and that we give out as wedding rings. It's a whole diamond. Okay? This is why playing cards have been around for so long too, and the tarot comes from it. because it's communication. Okay? You have to trust in the fact that there is no coincidence. You have to trust in the fact that their synchronicity is even second layer, and we're going three. It's communication. Communication is the foundation for physical reality, for existence to happen. Okay? So it's an expression, and that expression is given and received. Right now, we only know that as a half of one coin, half of the coin. You have to become the whole now. The light at the end of the tunnel is what I was saying in the illustration of the heart when you flip it over. Okay? You have arcs and you have angles. You have 30 degrees or 60-degree angles and 666. When you match those together, 369963. 3E. Okay? So now you have the arcs behind you and you're working in synergy with the I. So me is different than my, is different than self, is different than I. Okay? Those are all your internal families. Okay? So, talking about higher mind and I don't know how long this is, but I'll leave it here.